They could just get after you and knock you out quickly.
The final score will not indicate how competitive this game was. Griffin ball fake, and it's tapped home by Nelson. Now UConn will trigger in. It's over. UConn is a machine. The Huskies will play for the national championship.
Playing certain programs, it's feels like a privilege because of what they stand for, how they do it, and how good they are. So to be able to play the
prospect that he was supposed to be when he came up. And this could be wonderful because all that will do is lengthen the lineup. We've already seen flashes of excellent for Cleveland. So mark that down. Shane Bieber out for the year. But man, oh man, it's almost like every day you open ESPN.com and look at the MLB section to see which pitcher is hurt now in devastating fashion. So it's almost like who can stay healthy, who can keep their pitchers off the IL, which is increasingly impossible in Major League Baseball. Like the Marlins did everything they could to keep Yuri Perez in bubble wrap and to manage his innings and his workload, and did everything you would by whatever book they were following, right? Out for the year, Tommy John surgery. So I don't know what you do. Now the finger's being pointed at you know what, the pitch clock, making these guys speed up. And there's not enough sample size, and I'm not going to sit here and say that's ridiculous. I don't know. Is it just to the point now that guys are pitching too hard, throwing too hard, and asking their arms and their shoulders and their elbows to do things that humans shouldn't be able to do on a consistent basis, and then you're asking these pitchers to do it even faster? Hurry up. Hurry up and throw that 99-mile-an-hour fastball. And so something's going on. And one after another. Big name, big time, talented starting pitchers out for the year, the latest Shane Bieber. So we'll talk to Scott Carroll about that as well. I'm interested to hear what he has to say, and also what he has to say about the Royals sweeping his former team, because he watches both very closely. Again, tip of the cap to the person that thought of that. So timely. That's keeping your eye on the ball. Baseball terminology.
I heard that.
The national championship game for men's basketball is tonight, and it's the matchup we hope for. I don't think that I'm going to get much pushback from anyone if I tell you that these were the two best teams this season all along. Houston could have had an argument, but Houston suffered too many injuries. They just did. And so, and then, losing Jamal Shed in the tournament, that was the straw that broke their back, and that was it. But even a healthy Houston team, if you tell me, you know what, they were the third best team this year, and the two best teams will be on the floor tonight. Okay, I agree. And you don't get that very often in the NCAA tournament. It's just the nature of the beast. You don't get it that often. And we're getting it tonight. Marquee matchup. I saw that, UConn was a 6.5-point favorite. It was at 7 last night. Some people are pushing back on that. I saw Jeff Goodman says there's no way it should be that big of a spread, and the people he talks to, there's a lot of people, basketball industry insiders, that think that Purdue not only will be competitive but will win this game tonight. All right, I'm willing to see it. I'm willing to hear it. Let's see it. So it should be a terrific matchup. Purdue 34-4, UConn 36-3. The two best teams from college basketball this year go out and let's find out who's best. And Purdue looking to put years and years of heartbreak behind them and win a national championship. And UConn looking to establish themselves as one of the great basketball, I don't know, like one of the great runs, but like this team is so different than last year's team. But just if they do this, and like Mike DeCourcy said on Friday, even if it's not by double digits, even though now they've won 11 straight tournament games by double digits, even if it's not by double digits, even if they just win it, and I saw someone, you might have to check this, Jake. One criticism, that you can't control who you play in the NCAA tournament, right? You don't schedule the NCAA tournament. But have they faced a 1 or a 2 seed in that 11-game stretch? See how long it takes Jake to look that up. And so I can understand that if people want to say, yeah, but they've been able to do this and not, but man, they beat the hell out of everybody. But what a way to put the icing on the cake. If they're able to be a true number one seed, a badass team that at least on paper looks like they could be their equivalent, a real contender. And if they're able to do that and beat Purdue tonight, you got to put this 2-game stretch up against anything we've ever seen. I know there's been other teams to repeat, but I mean like this. And Mike DeCourcy marveled at the turnover that they've had, and look at the job that Dan Hurley has done. They're right back where they were last year, as dominating in the NCAA tournament. That's just, especially in this day and age. I think it's different, man. This isn't, John Wooden with a leather satchel of $100 bills, just dominating college basketball. This is crazy what we're seeing, and so history is on the line tonight for UConn. And Purdue stands in their way. So that's very compelling. That should be very exciting. Looking now at 6.5. Depends on where you want to go. 6.5 or 7. That's the line right now for UConn as favorites. Yesterday, you could argue that we saw the two, probably pretty, accurate, the two best women's teams all season long made it to the national championship game. And we saw South Carolina, again, chasing history, trying to become undefeated for the whole season, and Caitlin Clark trying to do what Iowa couldn't do last year, and she could do last year and win a national championship. Came up short. South Carolina, the final score not indicative of how close the game was. They pulled away at the end. They win 87-75. Caitlin Clark had... after the first quarter, they go, this is going to be Iowa's day. A magnificent first quarter where she scored 18 points, which was a record for most points in a quarter in a national championship game. 18 points in the first quarter. That's a 72-point pace. They jumped out to a 10-0 lead. It was 10-0 Iowa. South Carolina maintained their composure. South Carolina grinded. And look, you don't have to be a great basketball mind to figure out what happened here. South Carolina had way too much size. Period. That was it. They owned the glass. Their offensive rebounding killed Iowa. How many times, if you watch the game, did you see Iowa play a pretty good 20 or 25 seconds of defense, force an outside shot, get a miss, offensive rebound, put back, score? That's devastating for a team to have that happen over and over again. And like in Cardoso, she's just too big. She's 6'7". There's nothing you could do. There's just nothing you can do. What did she end up with? 17 rebounds? 7 offensive rebounds? Kits had 10 rebounds. I mean, they out-rebounded Iowa 51-29. Iowa had 7 offensive rebounds. South Carolina, 18 offensive rebounds. I mean, that was it. That was it. Don't want to take anything away from the rest of the South Carolina team, but the difference in those two basketball teams yesterday was size and rebounding. South Carolina just absolutely imposed their will on Iowa. And it was too much for them to overcome. And they wore Iowa down, and it was like, damn, how many post players does South Carolina have? The depth, too.
Yeah.
Just rotating them in and out. But, like, nothing like Cardoso. I mean, what do? Like, what the hell do? You don't do anything. You watch her get offensive rebound after offensive rebound and putback after putback, and just kill your will. And then on top of that, you talk about the depth. You got a freshman, Tessa Johnson, who led the team with 19 points. I mean, out of nowhere. You know, she averaged this year 6. And she was unstoppable. In South Carolina, a team that lost to Iowa in the Final Four last year, relying on so many freshmen, and basically it was a new team from last year. And so a tremendous amount of credit has to go to Dawn Staley, who I saw someone put out her whole resume as player and now as coach. You put that up against anybody. Olympic gold medals, national Player of the Year awards. I think she made 6 straight All-Star games in the WNBA. Now she has 3 national championships. And there's only 5 coaches in women's basketball history that have at least 3 national championships. So now she's in that club. Name the other 4. You call it women's basketball.
Gino Auriemma.
That's 1.
Pat Summitt.
That's 2.
The coach at Stanford, maybe?
Yep. What's her name?
I don't know.
Vanderveer.
There you go. Thank you.
Last one's obvious. Come on.
Kim Mulkey.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, Mulkey.
And then Dawn Staley. and I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that 3 is, it won't be 3 when she's done.
She's not done.
That's 3 with an arrow pointing up. And I'm glad that she grabbed the mic at the end there after getting the trophy and said those things about Caitlin Clark, because I can be honest with you, I had enough of former UConn players and former, Lynette Woodard decided she's going to take some shots. I mean, like, the amount of hate towards Caitlin Clark, it got too much. And I saw, like, people say, hey, Iowa invited Lynette Woodard to an Iowa game and honored her and did all these things for her, and then she turns around and just talks about her record wasn't broken. It just, took some shots. And then Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird on their show, you just kept criticizing her. Brianna Stewart, it's like, how about appreciating someone that has come along and elevated the sport that you love so much? That doesn't take away anything that you did. That doesn't make you any less great, because all the players I just mentioned were great players in their own right. And you can say, well, she just did it because social media. Who cares how she did it? She did it. She elevated this sport to where I'm talking about it right now in the opening segment today, because I know a lot of people watched it and a lot of people cared, and a lot of people watched it on Friday night when they beat UConn in a hell of a game, because I know all Twitter was talking about was the foul that was called against UConn and whether or not UConn got screwed. Hey, that's how you know a sports made it, when people are bitching about the referees for the rest of the night. Now they really made it. But that was the show Friday. That's right. Did you guys watch it?
Oh, yeah.
I watched all of it.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear anyone debating the foul?
Everyone.
Of course. And even that, wow, what a game. Wow. Man, and I will say this, it was a foul. And I know some people don't call it in that situation. I have to be consistent as someone that said, hey, if you're holding Juju Smith-Schuster in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, go ahead and call it if it's a hold. So if it's a foul, it's a foul. All right? I must remain loyal to what I saw between the Chiefs and the Eagles. But was I mad? And I was rooting. I was rooting for Iowa, but I'm sitting there watching with my daughter, and she loves Paige Beckers and loves Caitlin Clark. But guess what? Why I was mad? We were robbed of Paige Beckers putting a shot up to win the game in the Final Four. It would have been a buzzer beater, and I think she would have made it because Iowa was falling apart. They fell apart in that final minute, and so we were robbed as sports fans of what could have been a fantastic moment. Either her missing it or making it was going to, everyone was holding their breath, and then instead we heard a whistle. But hey, it's a foul. But she elevated the sport. It's real simple. She made a whole bunch of people that haven't really watched women's basketball or cared about women's basketball watch women's basketball and care about women's basketball. However she did it, that's the way she did it. And I don't get the hate. She helped what you do. And even the former players, if you're a commentator now, you want more people to listen to you commentate, don't you? If you just talk about the sport, you want more people to care about what you talk about. If you're in the WNBA, you hope she comes in here and she's a superstar because that will elevate your sport. Because very few people talk about the WNBA. And she will bring money and sponsors and eyeballs. And she could help elevate your sport. That's why the Diana Taurasi comments, well, just wait till next year. You're gonna like, oh. Yes. Oh, shockingly, a rookie might struggle when they go to the pros. But I mean, just like she could lift. We'll see how powerful she is. Can she lift the WNBA till we talk about that? But still, like, she's helping you. She's helping the sport you love. What she did was fantastic. And to say, well, no, she can't be considered a GOAT until she win because she didn't win a championship. Well, go tell Larry Bird he wasn't a great college basketball player. That's ridiculous. So you're telling me if Caitlin Clark would have went to UConn instead, or South Carolina instead, or LSU instead, and surrounded herself with a bunch of McDonald's All-Americans and five-star players and only averaged 15 points a game, but played with a stacked lineup and won a title, then she would have been a GOAT. But because she only lifted this program to the point where they went to back-to-back national championship games and led the nation in scoring and played such an exciting brand of basketball that it made people pay attention. No. Okay. Whatever. Dawn Staley. She knows what she's talking about. Caitlin Clark's one of the GOATs. Amen. We'll take a break. Back after this on WHB. Hello there. Kansas City, Stephen St. John here, and I want to tell you about my friends at QC Kinetics. You know that my wife has gone to QC Kinetics, and she's been very happy with the results. If you would like to get back to living the kind of life you want to live and life you want to lead, then you need to check out QC Kinetics, especially now that the weather is better and the spring is here. You want to get out and walk and run and enjoy time with your kids or just enjoy life. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades. Regenerative medicine. If you're tired of achy joints, if your joint pain is keeping you from doing what you love, you need to call QC Kinetics right now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, these are no longer your best options. We're talking natural biologics using your body's own power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get you relief with a needle, not a knife. So call QC Kinetics now to learn about some exciting options for you. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299, located off 435 and State Line, and also in Gladstone. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 816-412-6299, and tell them Stephen St. John sent you. Royals all on the way, earning a 4-game sweep over the White Sox. Then the women's championship on Sunday, the men's championship tonight, and then in between WrestleMania, where I'm sure that the anger and frustration that I have when I find myself in a text thread where there's these soccer conversations that I have no concept and understanding of. I'm sure Nate was experiencing the same thing as Jake, Lebo, and I were excitedly texting about what was happening in the main event of WrestleMania last night between the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns. But I mean, dude, here's the deal.
You had 2 nights of it too.
Right.
I mean, that was.
How long has it been a 2-night event?
Never. This is the first year.
Oh, okay.
This, Jason Kelsey came out
Yeah,
with
I saw
Lane
that.
Johnson to help Rey Mysterio Jr. I mean, 2 nights of WrestleMania. They get it now.
I was flying home with my buddy Brad Mertel, who was producing the game I worked this weekend, and he was telling me all about the Saturday night part of WrestleMania on the flight home yesterday morning. He showed me the video of Jason Kelsey. He was telling me all about it. So I learned a little bit.
But see, man, that was
Sunday.
That was just the
nuts.
appetizer.
everything was
Sunday was
it was
nutty.
all nothing
Snoop
compared
Dogg coming
to.
out.
Well, see, I don't. It was all nothing compared to the main event.
Yes. I mean,
Someone made the best tweet last night and said, "I feel like I'm watching the season finale of wrestling, or even the series finale, because you're watching it, and you got Cody Rhodes, so I get a kick out of because I was a fan of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes,
Yeah. I was a wrestling fan back in those days.
Roman Reigns comes from such a great
bloodline.
great wrestling family. His dad was one of the Wild Samoans, who Afa and Sika. I used to enjoy watching. But you had at one point you're watching this thing, right? And I know there were other run-ins leading up to this, but you heard John Cena's music, and he runs in to interfere. And then you hear The Rock's music, and he comes in to interfere. And you're thinking, what the hell is going on here? And I know that you got to kick Jake out of the Shield, didn't you?
Of course I did. Yeah, but Cena coming out and Cena and The Rock,
But me just, and everyone's going crazy. And then The Undertaker
Forget about it.
making an appearance out of nowhere,
Forget about it.
right?
That guy's legend.
But it was like cool because that was like, that represented like Richie as a little boy and Phil as a little boy, and when they were still in the wrestling, when I would take them every time that it was in Kansas City, it was like, here comes John Cena, here comes The Rock, here comes The Undertaker. So that was nostalgic. That was pretty cool. And then Jake thrilled that Cody Rhodes wins the championship, weren't you?
I was. First time for the Rhodes family to be undisputed champions of the World Wrestling, I guess, entertainment now, but Federation. It's the Federation. It was great. The writing,
What?
the storylines.
How about the deep storyline, the deep storytelling of Seth Rollins coming in as a member of the Shield?
Yes.
And right there, Roman Reigns, clearly the right choice is to hit Cody Rhodes again with the chair.
Right.
But he's so overtaken with anger
By Seth.
because Seth Rollins showed up as, dressed as a member of the Shield, that he hit him with a chair, and ultimately that's what cost him.
Absolutely.
He took his eye off the ball, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Coachable moment if you watch with the kids.
And I love Seth Rollins. I'm a big Seth Rollins fan.
Well, he got the hell hit out of him with that. He hit with that chair, and he was gone for a while. They were still trying to help him out. But the point
They're
is,
still trying to find him.
You're supposed to hit Cody Rhodes.
Right.
This is Bloodlines rules, baby. So
Hit Cody Rhodes and finish him. Anger and rage got the best of him.
For some reason, I'm a big fan of Bailey, so I watched that
Yeah,
match.
sure.
She had a bad knee.
Yeah.
She battled through adversity.
Put that belt up.
I watched the Logan Paul match, too. I was tickled
What'd you
when
think of it?
I liked when Randy Orton beat the hell out of the Prime Bottle. That was pretty much
Yeah.
that was pretty much the peak for me.
That was one of the highlights
There was a
of the
little
night.
Prime mask with the Prime Bottle dancing around, and then,
Harassing him
Yeah, and
down.
then, he messed with Randy Orton one too many times, and Randy Orton put him through that table.
I was rooting for Randy Orton.
Like when he kicked him, that bottle went flying. They said it was some famous streamer, and I didn't know who it was. To
I
me,
had
it was
no
just the
idea.
Prime Bottle.
Yeah.
He got his ass whipped. So
The bottle with the face.
I was thinking Jake must like this. Randy Orton's beating the hell out of a mascot right now.
Yes,
So.
yes. This is definitely a highlight of the night.
Let me see
Because
if
I
I
like
can-
Randy Orton. I mean, he's
Of course.
RKO, baby.
Well, Kansas City native Cowboy Bob Orton.
That's right.
His father.
That's right.
Who main evented the first WrestleMania. So thank you. So there. Were all the texts confusing?
A little bit. I mean, I can't say I know all the storylines real well, but I recognize some of the names you guys were texting.
Yeah,
about.
but you would have you would have appreciated with Cena and The Rock and
Oh yeah, and I was a big fan of
Undertaker.
the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes back in the
Right.
day. That was my time of
his son's
being
the
a wrestling
American
fan.
Nightmare.
Yeah, I get that. I saw the video of him. Boy, guy could barely stand up. It was such a
was a-
taxing affair.
It was. No, it really was.
You know, he was emotionally overcome. He won the belt. It was powerful.
You want to see video?
Can I ask a stupid question? Was it pay per view? Like what was it?
No, Peacock.
Peacock.
That's
Oh,
one of the
on
cool
the-
things
oh,
about
man.
Peacock.
Awesome.
Peacock,
Yeah.
and I remember we talked about
They've
this.
been on it for like 3 years.
People were
now?
bitching about what game was on Peacock. What Chiefs game?
the Chiefs Dolphins.
Chiefs
Okay.
Dolphins.
And so and we weren't kidding. We were like, well, if you have Peacock, you get to see all the big WWE cards. I mean, that's part of it. So if you wanted to watch WrestleMania, all you had to do was have Peacock.
Yeah,
I-
it's
I mean,
great.
that's pretty good.
That's
Yeah,
great. I used to hate paying for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
He beat the hell out of this.
No, I was interested when Brad was telling me about it.
Okay, so he took
That's
the
not the
pro-
right guy to beat up.
No.
That's the Prime Bottle.
Yeah. Well, he was the Prime Bottle. Not anymore.
And he got his ass kicked. So
Yeah, he did.
those are the things I like. So
Well, we got to have my buddy Kevin Patrick on the show sometime. He was the play-by-play host of Monday Night Raw for quite some time and did some Friday Night SmackDown. He's a good buddy of mine, so we got to have him on the show sometime.
I wanted to go to bed so bad, and that main event lasted so long. I was like, please.
Well, how are you supposed to anticipate that? I mean, you never know what's going to happen in a live sporting event.
Then I was so glad because I would have been pissed off if I would have woke up the next day. Who ran in? And then who? And then
What?
who?
What?
And then who?
And then the bells, lights are off. It's a taker. It's great.
I wish that would have been Stone Cold.
Me too. But
That did, I know, but
His knee in
instead of a
his
choke
back.
slam, they needed to be a stunner. But that's all right.
right.
That's fine.
Because, what was it, 25 years ago, Rock and Stone Cold, their first match, 25 years ago in Philly, I think.
I went to the Omni in Atlanta to watch Ric Flair and the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Wonderful memories. With my dad. All right. Oh, and by the way, in case you're looking for another tasty, juicy headline, John Calipari's leaving Kentucky to be the Arkansas
wild,
head coach.
man, wild.
The NIL
Hey.
money, baby.
All the crazy talk by Arkansas fans of the coaches they might hire, not so crazy.
No.
By all accounts, Coach Cal, I mean, first of all, Arkansas is a good job, and it's what he believes, and he believes it's a good job, and he's getting paid a whole bunch of money. He's going to have a whole bunch of NIL money. But I've seen several reports that he was so sick of the criticism, and he was miserable in Kentucky, as people just, they'd had it with him,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And just think about this chain of events that just happened. Kentucky is losing their coach to Arkansas because Arkansas lost their coach to USC because USC lost their coach to SMU. And that's how this all happened. Roger Sherman tweeted that out. Jeff Goodman tweets out the names to watch right now for Kentucky. Nate Oates, $18 million buyout. Scott Drew, $4.5 million buyout. Bruce Pearl, $7 million buyout. Billy Donovan, he's in the NBA. Yeah, I think I might pick up the phone and I might make Nate Oates say, hey, you know what you're doing at Alabama? Well, we care about basketball. Come on over here. Let's see. We'll also make your life a living hell if you don't win a national championship. I'm going to tell you this right. You come here, we're going to pay you a lot of money. We'll treat you like a king for a couple of months. But you don't go to the Final Four your first year. Your ass is grass. We're the lawnmower. We good? Shake. All right. Done deal.
But then another vacancy's coming open.
The honeymoon will be here for you about 45 minutes. And then you better have a 5-star recruit landed within an hour of you landing your plane here in Kentucky.
So the cheapest buyout out of all those is Scott Drew. Could you see him going to Kentucky?
You could see anyone going to Kentucky. It's Kentucky.
Yeah.
Now you have to know, you have to be willing, you have to have the thickest of skins, because they will be pissed immediately.
Yeah.
Just miss out on a recruit or something.
Sorry, if I'm Arkansas, I'm making Danny Hurley tell me no.
If you're Arkansas, why? You just got John
Kentucky.
Calipari.
If I'm Kentucky.
If you're Kentucky?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's a great fit.
No, but I mean, you make him say no.
That'd be a very quick conversation, I feel like.
I think
Okay,
he'd say no
All right,
before the
thank
phone
you.
call was even made.
That's fine. I'd still make him say no.
Sure.
Because he's the best going, man.
You know what? I might call the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes right now and see what he can do. I mean,
I know. That guy's going to be in an ice bath today. I saw the
tremendous
end of that
staff,
fight.
right?
Woo, he's tired. He's
Let's
beat up.
take a break. Back after this on WHB. Hello there, Kansas City. Steven St. John here. And you know what? I had some fun over the weekend playing Underdog Fantasy, courtesy of the Royals. It's fun when you got some great players to play with and a team that's winning. That is right. And what you do is you go to Underdog Fantasy's newest pick'em product that's active in Missouri, Pick'em Champions. Pick 2 to 5 players from at least 2 different teams. Select higher or lower on player stats. And once your entry is ready, pick your entry fee and submit it to be placed in a contest alongside other underdogs. If you get the most correct picks, you get to take home your share of the champion's prize. It's legal in Missouri, and it's a ton of fun to play, Nate Bukaty.
Oh, man, is it fun to play. It's fun to play, and it's easy to play. All you have to do is go to their easy-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code 810WHB, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100 plus. They'll give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em injury. So again, just go to Underdog Fantasy and download the app, or go to UnderdogFantasy.com and just remember, you use that promo code 810WHB to get your first deposit of $10 or more, up to $100 matched, plus your special pick. You must be 18 and over and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.